Hey guys, this is Lore's Guide to Heroic Hagara 10-man. We ran this encounter with 2 healers, 1 tank, and 7 DPS. We found it useful to bring our priest healer along for both Leap of Faith and for their PvP 4-piece bonus, but I'll talk about this later. You're also going to want a DK or a Druid tank because Focus Assault cannot be blocked or parried. So there's 3 phases to this fight, and in the first one she uses a couple of moves. First off is Ice Lance. She conjures crystals around the outside of the platform that launch ice towards random players. This does damage to the target and all players within 3 yards, so you'll want to spread your melee DPS out accordingly. It also leaves a debuff on the target that stacks up, so you only want to soak the damage for about 5 to 6 stacks and then trade off with someone else. Next is Ice Tomb. Hagara will pick 2 random players out of the raid, excluding the tank, and place an arrow above their heads. After about 5 seconds, they will be trapped within an ice tomb. We are going to want these players to stack and have the boss brought over so we can cleave them all down. This should be no problem at all. Our next ability is going to be Shattered Ice. Hagara will target a random player and hit them for about 100,000 damage. So it's important for healers and DPS to watch out, and for healers to keep the DPS topped, because if you're soaking Ice Lance damage, this can be an easy one-shot and a raid wipe. And our last ability is for the tanks. It's Focused Assault. Unlike regular Hagara, this cannot be dodged, and the tanks will have to save cooldowns for this. Now this is also not able to be blocked or parried, so if your tank is having trouble staying alive, you can use a Priest Leap of Faith, or have a Hunter or a Holy Pally taunt and ping pong the boss back and forth. Now that's the whole phase, and it's the easiest of the 3, so get ready. And that brings us to the next phase. First off is Frozen Tempest. Hagara will channel this, and she'll become immune to all damage. During this phase, you're going to want to run to the outside of the circle. Next, she's going to summon 4 binding crystals that you're going to have to DPS down. These will be scattered right around the circle. Next, any player standing within the inner circle will inflict 12% of their maximum health every second and reduce their movement speed by 50%. This is going to be important as we're going to be wanting to pop in and out of this, as I'll explain later. Next, she's going to summon Ice Waves. Now these one-shot on Heroic. They're going to spawn, and they're going to slowly make their way around the outside of the circle, and if you touch them, you're probably going to die. Next, she's going to cast Icicle. Now, Icicles fall around the outside of the platform, and they're going to fall on the floor. They're going to be marked by a blue circle, so you want to stay completely away from these, as they knock you back 7 yards, and could knock you into the Ice Wave. Next is Frostflake. Hagara places a Frostflake on a random player, and it reduces their movement speed by 10%, and an additional 10% every 1 second for 15 seconds. So you're going to want to dispel this, but you're going to want to dispel it inside of the watery entrenchment. So you're going to have a DPS go inside, and then you're going to dispel it. So this is Hagara's platform. We're going to kill the binding crystals in this order. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is where you're going to stack your raid when the phase first starts. So first the raid is going to be DPSing the crystal, and she's going to spawn the waves. Now these waves are going to move their way along the outside, so when the wave comes to the raid, it's going to have to move inside of the watery entrenchment, which means you're going to have heavy damage, and the wave is going to come by, and then you're going to move back out, and you're going to DPS the crystal. Now you're going to want to repeat this here, here, and here, and that's the whole phase. Now it seems pretty easy, but it's harder than it looks. And this brings us to the last of the 3 phases, the lightning phase. First off, she's going to start by casting Lightning Storm. This is going to do a moderate amount of damage to all players on the platform, and she's also going to be immune to all spell damage and melee attacks. Next, she's going to summon her Bound Lightning Elemental. Now this elemental is going to need to be tanked, and it's going to be needed to be brought over to one of the crystal conductors and taken down by the DPS. Once it's killed, the crystal conductor will light up with electricity, and the DPS will have to connect all the crystal conductors to end the phase. The healers are going to be stacked up in the middle healing, and some of the DPS are going to be needed to pop defensive cooldowns. Next, she's going to be electrocuted once you conduct all the crystal conductors together. Now she's going to take increased damage by 100% for 15 seconds, so you're going to want to save your cooldowns for this and burn her out. Now this is Hagara's platform. That little dot signifies where the ad is going to spawn, and the rest of the dots are where the crystal conductors are going to be. So you're going to tank the ad on that spot, and you're going to kill him, and then it's going to light up with electricity. Now here are the paths that your DPS are going to take to conduct the crystals. Your healers are going to stand in the middle, and you're going to assign 2 DPS to each colored track. Now the purple track is going to want to have healers with a healing cooldown for the raid, as in a Druid's Tranquility or a Priest's Hymn of Hope. They're going to conduct theirs, and then they're going to run into the middle, as they don't have to connect in a full circle, so they can help out heal in the middle. The rest are just going to connect like normal, and that's pretty much the whole phase. When you're done connecting your crystal, you're going to want to run right into the middle and stack up for heals.